Salve a tutti miei folli, bentornati in questa nuova parte di The Stanley Parable. Chiedo scusa se nell'ultimo video sono risultato magari meno attivo rispetto al solito, ok? Ma non stavo bene, chi ha letto i commenti lo sa. Ho registrato l'intero video con sensazione di nausea, sudore freddo, mal di testa, non stavo veramente bene e letteralmente secondi dopo che ho finito il video, che ho chiuso la registrazione, sono stato malissimo. O comunque sono stato male. Sperando in bene, questo video dovrebbe venire meglio. Siamo qui in compagnia di Pedover, come al solito, non è vero, come al solito non è vero, e del succo alla pesca, e me ne verso immediatamente un bel po'. Alla vostra. No, non avevo sete. Non è vero, non avete prove. Allora, vediamo se continua dall'ultimo salvataggio. Ho un piccolo escamotage per scoprirlo. Per vedere se mi mantiene le run precedenti anche con l'opzione salvataggi disattivata, che ripeto è di default così, quindi spero di sì. Vediamo, lo scopriamo immediatamente in questa run.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
What could it
Stanley
mean?
decided to go to the meeting room.
I don't
Perhaps he had
know.
simply missed a memo.
Però voglio il volume ancora più alto io. Oh, bene. Beh. Nel frattempo mi schianto contro i muri.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
The door on my left, you say? Ok. Solo perché voglio vedere se mi mantieni salvataggio o meno. Questa è la porta dalla quale dovremmo arrivare se andiamo a destra, giusto? Penso di sì, non è numerata. Sì, c'è ragione. No, non mi tieni salvataggi. Credo.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here.
Non mi tieni salvataggi.
And got back on track.
Ah, brutta cosa che non mi tieni salvataggi.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Upstairs, you say? E stavolta invece andiamo giù. Comunque era il broom closet, l'escamotage per vedere se mi mantenevi salvataggi.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy.
C'è qualquadra che non cosa qui.
Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment, for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Whoa.
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought.
One of most peculiar dreams.
I wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams. The truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain beyond a doubt that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been.
Ma quindi ce l'ho una vita all'infuori dell'ufficio?
I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay. Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Che ansia. Che ansia.
Of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting.
Are you sure about that?
And in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Ma quindi l'ha chiamata o no l'ambulanza? Anche se in realtà ha detto che l'uomo era morto, quindi l'ambulanza, mi dispiace, ma serve a poco. Ok, un finale particolare. Molto bene.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
On my left, you say?
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Esatto. Oh, quanto è bella. Sì, sì, dammi... Ma posso avere una media? Una. 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 Cold drinks, please. 1,25 alla faccia per l'ufficio.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Sì, tizio, devi stare
But
calmissimo.
eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
E invece, io voglio tornare qua.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Ah, mi era sembrata la freccia di un mouse. E comunque devi stare calmissimo, te.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really.
Stavolta sto qui. Anche se mi tenta quella porta, ma non ha neanche una maniglia, quindi dubito si possa aprire. E sai com'è The Stanley Parable? È la mia storia.
Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Qualcuno di cui mi sono dimenticato? La famigerata moglie della quale non sapevo l'esistenza.
To let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Ok, è un messaggio troll bellissimo questo, tra l'altro. Non riesco a distinguere bene la prima parola, ma... Things, mi sa che è. Le cose possono contenere informazioni, grazie. Nascosto. Che spavento?
You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
E che succede se non lo faccio? Posso staccare la spina, secondo me. Dai, rispondiamo. Bianchezza più totale. Amnesia e il ritorno.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Spavento.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley.
Tu prima mi hai detto che avevo una moglie.
Something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
C'è quel quadro che non cosa comunque, sto diventando più piccolo, è una mia impressione. Ho visto la telecamera abbassarsi.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Ma basta morire? Ok.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do.
Oh.
Now he's pushing a button.
Allora.
Now he's eating lunch. Now
non è vero.
He's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
Ah, l'ombra non è mia, giustamente. Io non ho niente, non ho piedi, non ho... Sì, va bene.
But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
È simile all'ufficio del capo, ma non è l'ufficio del capo, però c'è la keyboard. Sì,
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him.
Non posso varcare questo stangolino. È invalicabile. Però posso interagire con la porta che non
He
funziona.
went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
To prepare dinner? E allora fammi mettere... Tesoro, scusa. Ti devi levare
As he
dagli
wandered
zebedei.
through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
Sì. Il baby l'ho trovato, la yellow line non ancora, ed è il mio finale preferito. Non vedo l'ora di trovarla, ma non mi ricordo come si
so in his head, he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
Ma infatti mi ricordavo bene, lo stavo per dire prima di entrare. Il numero dell'appartamento era lo stesso del nostro ufficio.
And I'm trying to tell him this. That in this world he can never be anything but an observer. That as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop.
Veramente sei te che mi ammazzi a loop.
Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Ok? Mi dicono che non ho una scelta comunque, secondo me. Posso aspettare quanto voglio, ma devo premere quel bottone. Io aspetto. Non penso ci sia la scelta qua di... E se lo premo su qua? E va bene.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
Col finale di prima.
I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose.
Beh, almeno posso camminare qui
To
ora.
convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
E di nuovo happy ending, quindi... Niente, questa qua è la puntata del muori. Va bene.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall.
Là forse? Non lo so. O questo dici? No, questo c'era. Credo. Mi pare. Dovrebbe esserci.
When When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Sì, devo fare qualcosa in particolare o
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow. Yes, this room. What a beautiful room.
È
What a
cambiato.
gorgeous, gorgeous room. Thank
Gorgeous
goodness
room.
Stanley had taken this detour on his way to the meeting room. Life without having experienced this room was now too horrible even to consider.
Esatto. C'hai altro da aggiungere di nuovo? Sono diverse le frasi.
Yes, really
No.
worth it being here in the room.
No.
But eager
Okay.
to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Ok, e se io voglio...
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
Se non mi sbaglio puoi staccare la spina al telefono e voglio
I realize that
provare.
investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story
Come
has
anche
been about
potrei
nothing
provare
but you
che succede se vado through the
Someone you've been
red
neglecting,
door.
Stanley. Someone you forgot.
Sto urlando tantissimo perché il volume è altissimo
Stop
io.
trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Sì, che tecnicamente prima
Your chance to redeem
hai detto che
yourself,
ce l'avevo una
to
moglie, a
put
quanto
your
pare è
work
tutto
aside,
finto.
to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Posso camminare comunque.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do... Oh, no, you can't... Did you just unplug the phone? No, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually
visto?
chose incorrectly? I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check.
Hai visto? Sono mago.
No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits.
Non è vero.
Picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not
Cosa?
Stanley. You're a real person.
Come non sono Stanley? Si è fermato il
I can't
lampadario.
believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person. But if used incorrectly, can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Stephen has a choice. He could spend years helping improve the quality of life for citizens of impoverished third world nations. Or he could systematically set fire to every orphan living in a 30-kilometer radius of his house. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack."
Puoi ripetere l'ultima frase,
Excellent.
scusa?
Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember, that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Ok, posso sapere come hai proiettato questo filmato nella mia mente?
As a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
Non c'è più la presa, volevo ricollegarlo se era possibile. Morcia? Chapter, forse? Va bene, sei tu il capo. Non è assolutamente vero, sono io il capo. Tu non sei nessuno, tu sei una voce. Sai che...
Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
Ok, in realtà non ci ho mai provato a saltare giù. Assolutamente io comunque non conosco tutti i finali, cioè ne conosco alcuni, ma non tutti. Tipo saltare giù non l'ho mai visto, o almeno che io ricordi non l'ho mai visto.
You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world.
Ok, e se invece volessi...
Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ma io volevo tornare nel mio ufficio. E che succede se torno a destra?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
È chiuso. È chiuso.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Sì, ma non solo è chiuso, non ci sono più le scale. Ok. Qua. Niente. Qua c'era scritto bathroom, qualcosa bathroom. È diverso e forse...
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Night Shark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code. Stanley spoke the code. Night Shark 115. He spoke it into the receiver, right there on the wall.
Sì, Sto cliccando. Night check.
I'm sorry, is there a
Come
problem?
on.
You didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise, we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step.
Sì, sto
Okay, fine. You're
Sto
not gonna do it.
provandoci.
But you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously.
Questa comunque è l'immagine del
To
gioco.
show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward.
Calmissimo,
Behave
calmissimo.
exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Posso tornare indietro? No. Non so se questo finale è un continuo. Devo andare su, devo... vado a destra.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
Sorry. Ok.
Oh, it's ruined. I can't believe, after everything we talked about, that my story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that?
Ma
What
cosa
do you think
c'entro
was
io?
so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do?
Complimenti al
Even if there
doppiatore
were a way to
comunque.
continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that?
Cioè posso
I can't
salire su
erase that
tutte le
knowledge.
sedie
I'll have
tranne
to
che
live
su
with it forever.
questa.
Reliving
Per
its
salire.
impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to.
Get
I have to shut
Chris
the game
out of
down.
the
I
broom
have to.
closet.
I have to.
Che spavento.
Oh, I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you. You, who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed.
È
It was the only
magnifico.
thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that
Vero.
would be funny? You just
Sì.
had to see?
Sì.
Didn't I impress upon you how
Soprattutto,
important
sì.
it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child. Oh, my story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard.
Beh, non...
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors. He entered the door on his left.
Oh. Oh no.
Stanley?
No, non sono...
Is everything okay?
Non sono pronto per questo finale, non lo
I
sapevo.
need you to make a choice.
È il finale questo, il vero finale. Oh, possiamo vedere Stanley in faccia.
Can you hear me? Is everything all right? Stanley, this is important. The story needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me?
Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together. I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward, please. Choose. Do something. Anything. This is more important than you can ever know. I need this. The story needs it.
Mi spezza il cuore.
You hear me? Are you there? You listening to this? Stanley, are you there? Okay. It's okay, I can wait. You need time to decide. Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right. I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do. Take as much time as you need.
È terribile. È terribile. Bene, miei fosi. Sono distrutto dopo questo finale. È tutto per questa parte. Prima di proseguire dovrebbe essersi resettato. Sì.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ok, dovrebbe essersi resettato. Va bene. Giusto. Mi sono spaventatissimo. Stai scherzando?
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office.
Bla
But it
bla
didn't make
bla,
a single
sì,
difference,
so.
nor did it advance the story in any way. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ok, dovrebbe essere finito tecnicamente. Adesso voglio fare quello che mi dici, però mi hai spezzato il cuore prima.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Oh no, no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient.
Bla bla bla,
Finish what if. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Voglio provare un'ultima cosa a sto punto, visto che sono già arrivato qua, se ci riesco, ma... non ho fatto in tempo a uscire.
To discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret.
Mi ricordavo i numeri, non mi ricordavo in che ordine.
5. But of course, Stanley could, yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
È difficilissimo uscire prima che si chiudano le porte, cacchio. Volevo uscire, non mi ricordo assolutamente cosa succede, ma mi ricordo che puoi farlo. A sto punto,
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it
proviamo a...
This question would not go unanswered for long.
ad attivare il macchinario.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Succo. Boop.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Certo che sì. Sono Stanley. L'uomo con la faccia più bella del mondo.
Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
528 è quella diversa.
No. He refused to believe it. He
Infatti non
couldn't
c'erano
accept it.
pulsanti
His own
sull'ascensore,
life in
nel
someone
museo
else's
c'era l'ascensore con i
control.
pulsanti.
Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it?
Unthinkable.
Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Beh, più o meno sì.
Proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Yes. Or maybe not. Oh no.
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself? Is that what you wanted? Control?
Yes.
Oh, Stanley,
The power.
I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then?
Un po' più del complesso.
Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now.
Non riuscirò ad ottenere l'altro finale qua. Non so dove sono i pulsanti, quindi. Allora, uno.
But what precious moments each one of them is.
Due.
More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are?
Quattro, no.
A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much.
Direi che non ce la faccio. Dov'è il 3?
Put some extra time on the clock.
Li avevo trovati tutti, mi manca solo il 3.
Time doesn't grow on trees.
Vabbè, io provo a salire magari su. Non penso. Me ne ricordavo uno sui tavoli. E 4 basta.
Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved?
Beh, può essere diciamo battuto tra virgolette in 2 modi, in 3 modi.
You're in for quite a disappointment, but here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless, to see you made humble. This is not a challenge, it's a tragedy. You wanted to control.
Anche se non so in realtà se sono tutti,
I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown.
Non so se sono 5. Però... No.
Or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every
Niente, non so allora.
the moment we fade in until the moment I say happily ever after.
Goodbye employee. E siamo esplosi. Ah, forse erano 6. Però non so dove potesse essere 6, ho guardato un po' dappertutto più o meno. Bene miei folli, stavolta è veramente tutto. Ci vediamo alla prossima. Bye bye.